Gets it back up through the middle, and that is a touchdown for Jack Bech.
Welcome back to State of the Frogs with your head coach, Sonny Dykes. Coach, first off, thank you for being here. Yes, Saturday was not the game we all expected. I know you've had some time to digest it. Can you give us your thoughts?
Yeah, just not a good night for any of us. Bad night for me personally, bad night for our players. Just wasn't the kind of effort that we needed, and got off to a really, really bad start, and things kind of snowballed from there. And, you got to give our guys credit. We kind of fought back in at times, but then the last 5 minutes of the first half were pretty disastrous. And, just spotted them too many points, and, give up 21 points on non-offensive touchdowns. Gave up a punt return. Our punters punted the ball incredibly well all year. We hadn't given up a punt return yardage, one single yard until that game, and gave one up, hit a line drive punt in the middle of the field, which, again, we haven't done that at all. And it was right back on us pretty quickly. And then two turnovers, a fumble for a touchdown and an interception for a touchdown. Had big moments in the game. And so just made too many mistakes, and it was one of those tough nights.
I heard you comment in the presser about everything that could go wrong did go wrong, and I feel like that was as accurate. We've all been there. I think if you coach at the level that you do, there's days in your coaching career where just everything goes to hell in a handbasket.
Sure.
Myself personally, I've been through games as well. But
yeah. I mean, it's part of it. I mean, it happens when my son's in second grade, and they've had his teams had the same thing happen, where it just, for whatever reason, it doesn't go well, and it happened to us Saturday, and it's going to happen to some people on Sunday in the NFL, and it's just the way football is sometimes. And when you make those kind of mistakes, you got to learn from them. You got to acknowledge your failures, and there were plenty of failures on Saturday. And again, it all started with me, and kind of went from there. And so when you have something like that happened, you have to say, hey, look, we got to get better. Here's how we can do it. Here's how we can improve. And then you show up on Sunday, roll your sleeves up, and go to work. And that's the way it works. And so you got to give our players a ton of credit. They've had a terrific mentality. I think they were embarrassed, as just like I was. I think that they were disappointed. But I think at the same time, they realize it's one game out of 12, and we got to improve and get better and put it behind us quickly.
Can you tell us about the after-game message, or even the message on Sunday mornings?
Yeah. I mean, it was kind of the same as it always is. I apologize to the players for what happened, and then all of them took responsibility, just like I did, and that's just part of what you do. And the great thing about our football team is the guys love and respect each other, and there was no finger pointing, there was no complaining. It was a collective effort, and the guys understood it, and we realized we got to get better.
Absolutely. The call in question, the Savion holding on that kickoff, obviously, now looking back, it was a terrible call by the referees. Not that it doesn't matter anymore what happened, but you weren't wrong to argue the call, even though it.
Yeah. Well, it's like anything else. You got to do it, and you got to move on. And I think I lost my composure, and as a result, our team did, and as a result, we didn't play well. So again, that falls on me, and won't happen again.
On the positive side of this, Coach, we all know this team can score, move the ball, can win games. Obviously, you have a game coming up here in Arrowhead Stadium we'll talk about here in a second, but there's plenty of positives in this team to highlight and talk about throughout the three games we played. Do you focus on positives? Do you change anything inside practices going forward?
Yeah. I mean, you're always trying to change. I mean, even, we went on the road and won at Stanford. It turns out Stanford's going to have a good football team. It's like anything else. We watched the tape. We won the game, but we said, okay, look, we have to do these things better. And we changed. And then we played Long Island the next week and shut them out, but we needed to do a lot of things better, and we made adjustments. And then we lost a hard-fought game to a really good Central Florida team at the end, and played about as well as we could play in the first half, and didn't change one thing from the first half to the second half. And we improved, tried to make changes and adapt and improve from there, and we'll do the same thing on Saturday. And that's just kind of the process that you go through as a football team and as a coach and as a program. Is you always want to do. Our job is to get our players to play as well as they can play, and you always want to do everything you can to do that, put them in a position where they can be successful. And so you're always trying to adapt. You're always looking at personnel changes. You're always looking at scheme changes. You're always, being critical of calls. You're doing all the stuff that you can do to improve your performance. And, you do that whether you win or whether you lose.
Right, and luckily our conference schedule isn't affected by this, which obviously is something to be considered here.
For sure. Yeah, it's always about the conference. We're off to an 0-1 start in the league, and so it's going to be important for us to go get a win Saturday against Kansas and get right back on track. And if you look around the league, some of the teams that were picked to be the best teams in the league. Kansas, for example, was top 25 preseason, and they've lost 3 consecutive games that have come down to really the last play of the game pretty much. And, you just look around the league. Oklahoma State was one of the favorites. They've got a loss. Kansas State was one of the favorites. They got a loss. They faced a game very similar to ours last week where they had about a bad 5-minute period where, they gave up a defensive touchdown, a punt return touchdown, and all of a sudden they're out of a game and they get blown out at BYU. And, that's the Big 12. That's the way it happens right now in our league, week after week, game after game. You have to play your best football, and if you don't, you're going to get beat. And so that's why I anticipate the race coming down to the very end, and I anticipate 6 or 8 teams being involved, and our job's to get our team involved in that, and that's what we're shooting for.
Last question, and we'll move on to what's important this week. Fans around here. One thing that's come from you being here is the fans. The fandom has become a ravenous group. Whether we win or lose, they are obviously very vocal, and they're frustrated, as you clearly know. But it's an amazing thing, these fans. Does this affect you at all? Does it affect the team, these guys, and what they say? Because we all know that this could change next week.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, that's part of football. I think that. I talked about this earlier, but, look, as coaches, we're here 17, 18 hours a day. And so we come to work when it's dark. We leave when it's dark. We don't really know kind of what's being said. And so we're a little bit insulated from a lot of the stuff. Where our players are out there more and they listen to stuff and they're in class and they're on social media and they're more aware of some of the stuff than we are. But, again, I think our guys, know what we're doing in the building's right. I think they believe that. And so I think that they're okay with that. I mean, I think that's like anything. When we started this year in 22, when we started in 22, 12-0, they got a lot of love from people, and now they're not getting it, and they understand it's just the way it is. I mean, people are critical of everything. People are critical of you when you win. People are critical of you when you lose. Mm-hmm. People are going to be critical, and that's just part of it. But you also appreciate the fact that they care. And I think that's the balance is, we have tremendous fans here. They want to win. They invest in our program. They show up for our games. They cheer. And so, and they're entitled to a better product than we put on the field Saturday. But I think, I love our fans. I love our fan base. I love the passion. That's what makes TCU special, and our players really do appreciate it.
Well, I appreciate your thoughts there. Thank you, Coach. We'll be right back with State of the Frogs with your head coach, Sonny Dykes.
What do you see when you look up at the clouds? At Richard's Rainwater, we see the greatest source of pure, delicious water looking right back down at us. We've invented a simple, powerful technology to collect and bottle rainwater. Our process begins with the rain. When clouds become saturated, droplets fall from the sky. Rainfall is a naturally cleansing event. During the first few minutes, the raindrops clean the atmosphere and wash away any dirt or debris from surface areas. At this cleanest point in the rain cycle, we collect the pure raindrops into large storage vessels. Then, we use a simple, yet effective combination of ozone and microfiltration to ensure our rainwater surpasses the highest drinking water standards. We pour the pure, refreshing rainwater into glass bottles and aluminum cans, packaging as infinitely renewable as the water itself. Richard's Rainwater is building a network of collection systems across the country to ensure our rainwater is local everywhere. The purest, best-tasting water comes from the sky. Richard's Rainwater, sip the sky.
Welcome back to State of the Frogs with your head coach, Sonny Dykes. The student question comes from Tanner. Mallory James Mahoney, please take it away.
Thanks, JW. I am here with Tanner. He is a freshman business major from Joshua, Texas, and he has our question of the week.
Hey, Coach Dykes. Everyone's wondering why college football is so big here. Like, what makes it so exciting here at TCU?
Hey, Tanner, thanks for the question. What makes college football special is that the fans are truly invested. I mean, you think about it, you spend 4 or 5 years on a campus someplace, it becomes part of who you are and part of your experience in your life. And, a lot of our players are in classes with students and they have relationships with them and get to know them. And that's what makes college football so special is just, the fans, the pageantry, and we're lucky. We're lucky to be in a place that, we have tremendous fan base. We got a big following. We have a beautiful stadium. And we've had a lot of success through the years here, and I think that's what makes TCU so special and what makes everybody's expectations so high. And so I think college football is the only thing that I know where the fans are this passionate, and again, that's what creates a fun environment every week.
Thank you, Tanner, for the question. We'll be right back with State of the Frogs, your head coach, Sonny Dykes.
Energy does everything for us. It's all-encompassing.
We're all benefiting and affected from it.
And it is something that we all need to know about.
It is the glue that holds everything together.
TCU is powering what matters, our future.
We don't just talk about what's needed, we focus on results.
The Ralph Lowe Energy Institute is creating a world where energy is affordable, sustainable, and reliable.
Welcome to the Squire Shop.
We are locally owned and operated since 1994.
We specialize in the finest men's clothing that the market has to offer at affordable prices with unbelievable service.
We do custom clothing all the way to more casual, Peter Millar, Johnny O, kind of everything. Well, my dad's the owner, so I've been around retail my whole life. Oh, it's great. I mean, it's the best boss I'll ever have. I know that.
We love our TCU community. They have been so good to us. Come see us today. Go Frogs!
Welcome back to State of the Frogs. Your head coach, Sonny Dykes. Coach, in an effort to move forward and get this bad feeling behind us, we do what we do. We go to work. Kansas Jayhawks is Saturday, Arrowhead Stadium.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, looking forward to the game. And they got a good football team. They were a preseason top 25 team. They've lost three consecutive games, which I don't think anybody saw that coming. So I think they're going through a little bit of what we're going through. They lost, 3 one-possession games that could very easily be 4-0 right now instead of 1-3. Really came down to the last play of the game a couple of times. And they just have had some bounces that didn't go their way. So very capable football team. There's a reason they were picked in the top 25 when the season started. A lot of it's because of their quarterback, very versatile runner. They have a very good scheme. They do a nice job running the football. They're going to run it on first down, second down, third down, on fourth down. They're going to run it. I mean, they're a running team. And then they do a nice job with play action and stuff off of the runs. And the quarterback can keep plays alive, can keep his eyes downfield, has a really good group of wide receivers, big guys to throw to, some tight ends that are very good. The 2 running backs are very, very experienced. And then defensively, the personnel is so much better than it used to be. I think that's the big difference in this Kansas team this year and the Kansas teams in the past is their personnel on defense is good. I mean, they've got a really good pass rusher, 2 of the better corners in the Big 12. A lot of guys that can run. I think their team speed is much improved and just an overall really good football team. And they're very sound on special teams.
I appreciate your comments of being a similarly positioned team. Coach Leipold, their head coach of Kansas, said similar things in his presser that they're a team looking for answers. So I can really appreciate that. A team like that looking for answers, you guys obviously in some similar form or fashion, this makes for a really interesting matchup. Arrowhead Stadium, what does that do for you guys?
Yeah, I think our guys will be excited. Most of us have never been there. I've never been there. I don't think many of our players have ever been there. So anytime you play in an NFL venue, especially one that's hosted that many big games, I think it's fun. I think it's exciting. So our guys will be fired up about it. And it's a big game Saturday. I mean, the thing about it is anytime you play a Big 12 game, it's a big game. And this will be a big one for us against, again, a team that I think people when the season started, expected them to contend for a conference championship. I saw a lot of picks where Kansas was the pick to win the Big 12 this year, and they've had some bad things happen to them. But they're a very, very good football team. I'm sure they'll be excited about playing us and the matchup, and we're going to have to go play very well.
Coach Lance Leipold, do you know the man very well?
I do, yeah, really. I think a lot of them, kind of came up as a small college coach. I have a lot of respect for the guys that came up that way. Very successful at Wisconsin Whitewater. I think won 5 or 6 national championships. And so he knows how to win. He knows how to build a program. He's done a tremendous job at Kansas. I think from where they were to where they are now is you got to look at that and you got to give him a ton of credit.
30 seniors on their team, I believe, is what I read correctly. So they obviously have some experience. Jalen Daniels, the quarterback you mentioned, he's been around for a bit. He's, I think, struggling a little bit, but he's finding the rust coming off at pieces throughout the season. But
yeah, he's a guy that's played a ton of football. I mean, you go back and 2 years ago, he was the preseason Big 12 Player of the Year, and I think that. He's a guy that has played a lot of really good football, has been banged up, hadn't been able to finish the season healthy the last couple of years and has made it through so far and is healthy and is performing very, very well. They lost their offensive coordinator who went to Penn State and have a new coordinator, but Jeff Grimes is a really good football coach, a really smart guy, has done a nice job coming in and continuing to run the stuff that they run. They're going to give you a million different run schemes, going to run the ball a lot of different ways. As many run schemes as anyone I've ever seen. Kind of 3 totally separate running offenses within one. They run the speed option, triple option. They do a lot of mid zone, just a lot of things that's really, really good in their offense. And window dress it. They run the ball 68% of the time, and they believe in running the ball. That's what they're going to do. Run it on first down, run it on second down. They'll run it on third and long, and third and medium, and then they do a nice job going forward a lot on fourth down and trying to keep drives alive. So it's going to be a very difficult offense to stop. And we've had a hard time stopping the run, so it'll be a big challenge for us.
Well, I got to tell you, everybody on the fan side of this believes this team has got a point to prove now, and we're looking forward to this game to see how this team responds. So
yeah, I am too. I think I am too. And again, I love the resolve of the players so far, and I'm excited about getting back out and playing.
Thank you, Coach.
Okay.
I'll see you at 2:30 Arrowhead Stadium.
All right, appreciate it.
That's been State of the Frogs with your head coach, Sonny Dykes.
Roxo Media House.